back, everybody. It is Spencer and Becky at Sunday School.
Hello, everybody.
And we're going to start and do some singing.
Yeah, let's join in on the song, What Does the Reign of God Look Like, that we learned last week. All right, here we go. What does the reign of God look like? How will we know it is here? There's good news for all, love for our neighbor, mercy, healing, compassion. Let's do the refrain one more time. What does the reign of God look like? How will we know it is here? There's good news for all, love for our neighbor, mercy, healing, compassion.
Thank you, Spencer. All right. We're going to start by, I'm going to have to take my mask off for just a minute. We'll have Spencer move down there so we are further apart, because we're going to start by showing some facial expressions, and you can shout out what you think my facial expression is trying to share. Okay? All right, so first one. What do you think that was?
I would say surprise.
Yeah, I think that's a good guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be sad.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're angry.
Yeah. And how about
Happy.
Yeah.
Which is how I normally see you. So, yes.
All right. Very good. Those are all emotions that we can feel and express. And it'd probably be easier in this world if people were as elaborate as I just was, and we would know exactly how they were feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times that isn't how people express their emotions, and we sometimes have to guess or we have to ask.
Right. Yep.
And that is part of compassion, is seeing people, paying attention to people. So we're going to read a story about that, and we're going to read it together.
Okay.
So go ahead.
All right, I'll read one. Jesus went to a town called Nain. Nain?
I think so.
Nain? Okay. And his disciples and a large crowd came with him. As he came to the gate of the town, a man who had died was being carried out.
A large crowd came alongside his mother. She was a widow, and he was her only son. When Jesus saw her, he had compassion for her. He told her, "Do not weep." Then he came forward and touched the coffin. The people carrying it stopped moving, and Jesus said, "Young man, listen. Get up."
The dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother.
The people who saw this were amazed and awed and maybe a bit afraid. They were hushed in wonder, and when they began to shout, "Someone who knows God, who feels what God feels, is among us. And God sees us and cares for us."
And everywhere, people were talking about Jesus and what he had done.
Yes. All right, let's do some coloring. I have started my coloring, and this is the one for the older group. Do not weep.
And this is the one for the younger group, the storybook version. So it just kind of has pictures and then gives the story underneath.
And there's that page there. Look at the son who is
He's
alive.
alive, yeah. And then everybody's happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you imagine the widow felt when Jesus shared his sadness?
What's the word? There's a word for it, and I'm trying to think. When he shared, comforted, maybe comforted, and I can't think of the word right now. My brain's not working. Yeah, I would say probably comforted.
Yeah. I think that compassion that we were talking about, I think she felt seen. She felt heard.
Yes, thank you. Yep. Yep.
She was, and that is powerful. When we feel seen and heard, it is a powerful experience for us. Can change our loneliness. It can change our, sometimes even the direction that we were going in. And certainly for this mom in this story, it changed everything.
I would agree. Yeah. Let me get back to my questions so I can. So why does it feel important to know Jesus first felt compassion and empathy for the widow before he healed her son? Why do we need to know that?
Because for me, this story doesn't have to be scientifically true that someone who is dead came to life. It can be about the feeling that happened right there, that Jesus felt compassion and empathy for someone who was feeling sad. And so just like I kind of said, when we are seen and heard, it can change everything for us. And so I know people sometimes when they go to the doctor, they do not feel seen or heard by the person that they are going to. And if you change doctors or meet a new doctor and you feel seen and heard, everything can change. Perhaps the thing that you've been saying, my tummy hurts all the time, and nobody is listening to you, and someone listens to you, finds out what's wrong, and you can be healed. So it can be about something more than the thing that seems like a miracle here, right?
Yeah.
So has there been a time you showed empathy to someone by feeling what she or he was feeling?
It reminds me of a time when I worked in a retirement community. One of our main things was to make sure that after every interaction, our residents they felt seen and heard and valued. And we had a resident who had lost their spouse, and just sitting with them and sharing their stories and really hearing them and feeling that sadness that they felt was really important for what I was doing in my work there. So yeah, I would say that's probably one of the more recent times that I can recall.
That's great.
Yeah. It's easiest for us to show empathy and compassion to people who are a lot like us, but it is harder to show this toward people who are very different from us. I would agree with that statement. Who is someone in your life that is quite different from you, and how could you show more empathy toward that person?
That was a good question. I think probably as kids right now, we can all relate to the fact that there are so many things in our country that people have different opinions about. And instead of it being something that you can just easily talk about, it becomes something that has been really divisive and hard, right? So as kids even, if you are a family who wears masks and values taking care of other people in that way, it can be very frustrating to go to a store or go somewhere and see lots and lots of people not wearing masks. Or, on the other side of it, if you are someone who thinks wearing masks doesn't have a value, you can get really irritated with people who are walking around in masks. And we see that sort of bubble up when we're out and about. And so I think, obviously, you can see where Spencer and I feel it is important to wear masks, and that is a sign of caring for other people. And so having me remember that people who are not choosing that need to be seen and heard too, as humans,
Right.
you know, even if I disagree with their opinion. And that is a challenge.
Yeah.
All right, our compassion in action this week is all about, again, compassion, so seeing other people. So if we want to think about masks, making masks, donating masks, I know, again, that schools are still willing to take donations for masks of people that maybe need them. They can pass them out easier. And
those are something you can get, like the kind that you're wearing, you can get those in big packs. So,
Yep.
you know, it's not like you have to make one like this. You know, you can get lots
Yes.
and lots and lots and donate them that way. So.
some of you kids might know Paul, who is our custodian here at our church. He was telling me the other day that he keeps a big pack of these disposable masks in his car and in his pocket or wherever. And in his apartment building, if someone walks in and is not wearing a mask, instead of having a confrontational conversation, he is, if you've met him, you know he's always happy and cheery. And he just smiles at them and hands them a mask. Hey, I'd like to give you a mask.
Oh, that's
And
pretty
he
cool.
said usually they accept it and say thank you. And so that's a great way to be seen and heard in a positive way. Way to go, Paul.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so let's sing.
Oh yeah, okay, let's do it. Okay, so this is our song that we sang at the beginning of Sunday school. This time I'm just going to add the verse that we learned, okay? All right. What does the reign of God look like? How will we know it is here? There's good news for all, love for our neighbor, mercy, healing, compassion. One day a woman was crying because her son had died. Jesus said, now stop your crying, your son will live again. What does the reign of God look like? How will we know it is here? There's good news for all, love for our neighbor, mercy, healing, compassion.
I just have to say that it doesn't end the way I think it should.
It doesn't? How should it end?
Compassion, I don't know. The
No.
ending of compassion,
Yeah.
it doesn't come
Doesn't.
together for me for some reason.
Okay, interesting.
Anyway, maybe it does for you kids. I love your playing though.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's gather together to pray. So come on in. You can stand or sit, find somewhere to be comfortable. And let's take a deep breath in. Hold it and blow it out. Dear God, thank you for our ability to understand others' feelings. Help us to be sensitive to the experiences of those around us, like Jesus was with the mother in our story today, so that we can be compassionate and helpful to those going through difficult times. And all God's children said, Amen.